Hello and welcome to 6th grade math support. Sometimes we just need a little help, and that's what these videos are meant to do. We're going to go through the objectives of Common Core and do an example for each objective, just to make sure that you have an example that you can look at and get some assistance. If there are other problems that might seem confusing or that you might need additional help with, feel free to send me a message about those as well. I'd be glad to help you or create a video about it, because if you have the question, probably someone else does too. So let's work together to make 6th grade math not so challenging or difficult. My name is Dr. Griggs, and I look forward to working with you through all of these objectives. Our first umbrella we'll be working under is ratios and proportional relationships. And our first objective is understand the concept of a ratio and use ratio language to describe a ratio relationship between two quantities. So let's look at an example. So here we have an example, apples and oranges. At a school picnic, there are 12 apples and 8 oranges in a fruit basket. And here's our question to consider. What is the ratio of apples to oranges in the basket? Describe the ratio relationship using ratio language. Now, let's do this one thing at a time. Let's look at the first part, which is what is the ratio between apples to oranges in the basket? One thing that's really important to remember about ratios is order. The order that you have in the question. So in this case, we're going with apples to oranges. The ratio that is written also needs to be in the same exact order. So that means we need to grab whatever number goes with apples first, followed by whatever number goes with oranges. Well, we can see right here that there are 12 apples, so we can write 12. And when we write ratios, there's several ways we can write it. We can write it like this with 12 colon, and we have 8 oranges, so 8. And we would read this 12 to 8. We can also write it as a fraction. We can also write it as 12 over 8. And we could also write it in words. We could say for every 12 apples, there are 8 oranges. That's going to be getting us into the second part of our question. So let's finish this first part first. So we do have the ratio of 12 to 8. However, just like a fraction, this can be reduced. And we want to use our greatest common factor to be able to reduce this ratio. Well, if we look at the factors of 8, so let's look at the factors of 8. We have 1, 2, 4, and 8. And if we look at the factors of 12, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Now, if we're looking for the greatest common factor, or the greatest number that they have in common, well, the greatest number that they have in common is 4. So that means that we can reduce each of these numbers by dividing them by 4. So that means that 12 divided by 4 will become 3. And 8 divided by 4 will become 2. So this is our simplest form for this ratio. And if we were to use ratio language, we could then say, well, for every 3 apples, there are 2 oranges. When we're using ratio language, you're going to either say for every, or for each, or per. those are going to be some parts of your ratio language. So we could say for each of 3 apples, we would have 2 oranges. Or we could say we have 3 apples per 2 oranges. So those are a few ways that we could reword this ratio. But now we have it in the right order. We have it from apples to oranges. We have reduced our ratio to the smallest it can go by using our greatest common factor. And we have also described this using ratio language, either using for every, for each, or per. Thank you so much for joining. I really hope that this was helpful to you. And if you need any other help, feel free to send me a message in the comments. I would love to be assistance to you. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining my tutoring session today. If you enjoyed the way that I instruct and you think that I would be a useful addition to your student or to yourself, feel free to scan this QR code. It is going to take you directly to my profile page where you can get set up on weekly classes with me. Looking forward to seeing you in the classroom. Bye.